The risk and infectious diseases that might be caused by wild birds pose a serious threat to free-range laying hens. Nonetheless, these hazards are reduced in layers kept in enclosed systems such as cage systems. Hens in littered and free-range systems experience higher mortality rates from coccidiosis, red mites, and viral diseases than hens in conventional cages, which are relatively sterile systems and unsuitable habitats for ectoparasites. It follows that typical cage systems are known to have a reduced ectoparasite risk than non-cage systems. Free-range systems raise the danger of infectious disease, direct contact with parasites, and soil contamination by microbes. It influences the extent to which diseases impact the hen surroundings. Vaccination, disinfection, and biosecurity are common methods used in all housing systems to reduce the risk of disease. In recent years, there has been growing concern about the welfare of farm animals, particularly those in egg production. While traditional cage systems have dominated the industry for decades, many consumers are pushing for more humane alternatives such as cage-free or free-range egg production. In traditional battery cage systems, hens are typically confined to small wire enclosures where they are unable to spread their wings, walk, or engage in natural behaviours like foraging or dust bathing. These systems are highly efficient in terms of egg production, but they raise significant concerns about animal welfare. Non-cage systems, such as cage-free or free-range, offer hens more space and access to natural environments. Cage-free systems provide hens with indoor space to roam freely, while free-range hens are allowed outside, though the amount of time spent outdoors can vary. The welfare of non-cage hens laying eggs has seen improvements compared to traditional battery cage systems, but there are still several current concerns. These concerns focus on issues related to the living conditions, health, and behavior of the hens, as well as the overall well-being. Non-cage systems, especially those that are cage-free or free-range, provide hens with more space to roam, spread their wings, and interact with other hens. This reduced confinement is crucial for their physical and physiological well-being. However, the space provided in these systems is often still limited in comparison to the hen's natural range. For instance, in cage-free systems, hens may still be crowded into large barns with limited room to move freely, which can lead to stress and physical injuries. Even in systems with more space, overcrowding can still occur, particularly in commercial operations that prioritize cost effectiveness over animal welfare. Regarding access to the outdoors, free-range hens, although offered outdoor access, may not always get the opportunity to use this space effectively. Some farms may have limited or poor maintained outdoor areas, and in case of high stocking density, outdoor access may be insufficient to meet the hen's natural needs. Some of the healthcare concerns in non-cage systems, particularly in larger, more crowded free-range farms, hens are more likely to suffer from injuries due to aggression and competition for resources. The open environment also increase their exposure to predators, parasites, and weather-related risks, which could negatively impact their health. While hens in non-cage systems can exhibit some natural behaviours such as perching and dust bathing, they may still lack the full range of environmental enrichments that would allow them to express behaviours like foraging and nesting in their natural state. Foraging in particular may be limited if the outdoor areas are small or poorly managed. Nesting space and egg-laying conditions are crucial welfare concerns for non-cage hens, as inadequate or poorly designed spaces can significantly impact their health and well-being. In non-cage systems, such as cage-free or barn systems, hens require private, quiet, and safe space to lay their eggs. However, in many cases, these systems lack sufficient nesting boxes or have poorly distributed nesting areas, leading to overcrowding and competition among hens for space. When hens are unable to find a quiet place to lay their eggs, they may resort to laying eggs on the floor or in unsanitary areas, increasing the risk of eggs being broken, soiled, or contaminated with bacteria. This not only compromises egg quality but also creates stress for the hens, who may struggle to find a secure spot to lay. Additionally, overcrowded nesting areas or inadequate design can lead to aggression and territorial behavior, further elevating stress levels and causing injuries to the hens. Without access to appropriate nesting spaces, hens can experience frustration and anxiety, which may manifest in harmful behaviors like feather pecking or egg eating. Furthermore, when hens are forced to lay eggs outside of designated areas, it can disrupt their natural laying cycle as they feel less secure and may not lay constantly. Providing enough well-designed nesting space that allows hens to lay their eggs in a safe, clean and stress-free environment is essential for both their physical health and mental welfare. In addition to oviposition rate and egg quality, hen behaviour is known to be influenced by lighting and how it is managed, including rhythmic activity, aggressiveness and space utilisation. Nests typically lack lighting because hens prefer to lay in areas with low light levels. However, as some scientists discovered that cavity nesting birds preferred light-filled nest boxes over dark ones, lighting inside the nest could be employed to draw hens. Similar to this, hens' interest for particular colours can be used to control their distribution in a cage-free system and maximise nest utilisation, since it has been shown that chickens prefer certain colours like yellow while opposing others like blue. A utilitarianism seeks to maximise overall happiness and minimise suffering. So for non-caged laying hens, this means evaluating how different living conditions affect the hen's ability to express natural behaviours such as scratching, pecking, dust bathing and socialising with other hens. Systems like free-range or barn systems allow hens to move around more freely and engage in these behaviours, which are likely to reduce stress and improve their well-being. Hens, as sentient beings, can experience pain, discomfort and pleasure. In cage systems where hens are confined to small spaces, they may experience physical and physiological suffering due to the lack of space, inability to move freely and restricted natural behaviours. Non-cage systems, in contrast, would be viewed as more humane, as they allow hens to live in environments that are more natural and comfortable, thereby reducing their suffering. A utilitarian would also consider the broader consequence of different farming practices. While non-cage systems are better for hen welfare, they may also be less efficient or more costly compared to cage systems. From a societal standpoint, the utilitarian would weigh the benefits of improved animal welfare against the potential increase in the cost of eggs and its impact on consumers. The goal would be to find the balance that maximises happiness overall, considering both animal well-being and economic and social costs involved. They may also take into account the environmental effects of different farming practices. Non-cage systems could be seen as more sustainable because they may involve more natural farming methods, potentially leading to less environmental degradation. However, they might also require more land and resources, therefore a utilitarian approach would weigh the environmental costs and benefits of non-cage versus cage systems to determine which one results in the least harm and the greatest benefit to society at large. The key regulations such as the Animal Welfare Layer Hens Regulations 2010 and the Welfare of Farmed Animals England Regulations 2007 prohibit the use of battery cages, mandating that hens be housed in systems that allows them to express natural behaviours such as perching, nesting, dust bathing and foraging. The legislation stresses that hens must be given access to a suitable environment that enables them to perform these behaviours, which are essential for their physical and mental well-being. Free-range and barn systems where hens have more space to roam and access to the outdoors are encouraged, and they are seen as preferable to cage systems in terms of animal welfare. Free-range systems in particular require that hens have access to outdoor space for part of the day, though these areas must carefully manage to prevent overcrowding and ensure that the hens can safely engage with the environment. Additionally, these systems must meet strict requirements for space per bird, ensuring that hens can move freely, stretch their wings and interact with other hens without excessive confinement. These systems must also be enriched with elements that support natural behaviours such as nesting boxes, perches, materials that allow hens to forage and unpack. The legislative updates and ongoing regulations are driven by growing consumer awareness and demand for ethical food production. As public concern for animal welfare increases, more producers are transitioning to non-cage systems, moving away from traditional battery cages and adopting more humane alternatives. The UK's regulatory approach continues to support this shift, promoting animal welfare while also considering the economic and environmental impacts of different farming practices.